I see you as a pioneer, an innovator. Obviously, you're a pastor, author, speaker, you name it. But I also feel like you're the leader's leader. A lot of people look up to you in that vein, and so I want to know, what do you see the primary job of as a leader, whether it's a movement or a business or anything else?
Well, thanks for setting me up that way, but I really genuinely don't think I'm a really great leader necessarily. I have big vision, and I'm very committed to that vision, and somehow that's created a movement, and I'm at the front of it. So I've had to learn how to lead, and I learned from a lot of people around me. But for me, leadership comes down to a few key things. Number one, vision. Why? Why are we doing this? In other words, what is the problem that we're trying to solve? And if you don't know what that is, then you shouldn't be in business, and you're not going to be a leader. I think the second thing a leader does is create culture. So people think, oh, you're the leader of passion, or you're the pastor of a church, so you write sermons and you minister to people and you do pastoral visits. Like, yes, I do all of that, but the number one thing I do is I'm a caretaker of culture. Because without culture, whatever it is that you're called to, your vision, it's not going to last, your team's not going to last, and you're not going to last. So it's vision, culture, and then it's really inspiration. It's keeping people focused on the why. And that, obviously, vision has a very short shelf life, and every leader that's a good leader knows that. You can give the greatest leadership speech at the midweek devotion for your company or team meeting or board meeting or whatever, and 3 or 4 days later, people don't know what you said. So you've got to keep casting that vision day by day by day. So I think knowing what you're doing and why, and then creating a culture around you that will sustain that vision and sustain that why, that's the primary job of every single leader.
And it's interesting, when you have that vision, you get people excited about it, and you create a culture around it. You've got people who are real fired up about your movement or your business. And I think a lot of business owners out there, maybe they haven't communicated that vision enough. There's that old Andy Stanley quote, it takes, 27 times or whatever for communication to actually stick. And I think a lot of leaders out there maybe struggle with putting that vision on paper and making it real, and then creating that culture around it where people really can dig into it.
Yeah, and if the vision is successful, your organization is going to grow. So you're going to start adding people, and you're going to be further and further away from the people that are actually now doing the thing that you feel called to do. So you have to close that gap a lot of different ways, because I wake up every day and I don't need a vision lesson. I don't go to my vision manual when I wake up in the morning. I wake up and I'm breathing the vision. It's in every molecule inside of my body. And so I would say, if you're leading a business, are you there? Are you waking up with a sense of, why are we doing this? What problem are we solving? What good are we bringing to the world today? And it could be paperclip manufacturing, or somebody could be in a landscape business, but you have to see it as, we're serving people. We're bringing beauty to the world. We're bringing order to life. We're reflecting God in our job. And if you wake up like that, that's how the way the leader wakes up. But then the leader realizes, most people on my team didn't wake up like that today. And therefore, I've got to cast a vision again today. I've got to clarify, what is it that we're doing here? And I've got to embody that. I have to walk through the door with a sense of, hey, I've got a pep in my step today, because I woke up fired up about what we're going to be able to do together to serve people and to make this world a better place. And that sounds totally cheeseball, but that's what God asked Adam and Eve to do. On day one, I want you to take care of this for me. And I want you to continue to steward the beauty that I've made. And we're all in the process of rebuilding and rebranding that in a broken world every day by whatever our particular business is.
So really, when it comes to leadership, you're a caretaker and a steward of that vision and the culture that has been given to you.
You are responsible and a steward of it, but you're also a spreader of it. So you've got to be contagious, and you have to have a contagious nature. And I think if I'm negative, wow, I just sabotaged everything that I'm stewarding. So I want to be real, and I think it's important for all of us that are leaning in today to realize that if you're a leader, you don't have to be perfect, and you don't have to be bulletproof, and you don't have to be a superhero, but you do have to have a different gear. You've got to have the rise above gear. People say, "What have you done during COVID to succeed?" And I said, rise above. That's the number one thing I've tried to do every day because I don't know how to lead through COVID. I didn't learn in any business training or any grad school how to lead through a global crisis. No one has that manual.
Yeah.
And this is a once in 100-year event. So we don't even have too many living people around to say, hey, you've been through something like this. Tell us all, how to do this. So what can you do if you don't have a manual and a go-to? You can shift into a gear that says, I'm going to rise above this today. I'm going to somehow trust my instincts, ability, and experience, and I'm going to lean on my not-so-silent owner. I have an ownership group in what I do, and my owner is not so silent. He owns it all. He's the owner of the whole earth, and he gives me a supernatural ability to join him. And so show up and rise above. That's what leaders do. And I don't care if you have 9 people or 900 people, you have to shift gears every day. And it doesn't mean you have to be a superhero. You don't have to walk in and fake it and say, hey, life's great and aren't we all blessed today? But you can't walk in 6 days in a row and say, man, I don't know. Wow, this is crazy. I'm not sure. You have to shift gears and you have to say, hey, we're going to figure this out and we're going to find a way through.
Yeah, Dave Ramsey addressed our team not long ago with the vulnerability of going, hey, leading during COVID, I didn't know what I was doing. And it's so crazy to hear someone like Dave say that, who you see as such a strong leader, and you go, no, that's strong leadership. It's owning it and going, I don't know what I'm doing, but we're taking it day by day, and I've got the leadership team in place, and God gave me this thing to manage, and we're going to do the right thing, the right next thing in front of us. So that's powerful.